Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Michelle's vlog. And we had a good week. We tested her classic lifts again this week. I've had her work on form, had her work on keeping those feet straight. She has been on her speed work. We missed it on the camera because it moved, but she got a nice clean 155 bench, which we're very happy with. And then we'll get to her squatting and deadlifting on those days. So afterwards, for max effort upper day, we did the floor press, which again, I really like the floor press for a lot of my lifters who have any sort of beat up shoulders. The floor press is for those people one of my preferred, probably near the top of my bench accessories for them, or assistance movements even. It works great, particularly anyone with a history of shoulder issues, because we get so much pec activation due to the really strict nature at the bottom. Yet it's easy on the shoulders because we lose that last little bit of rotation to the shoulder at the bottom. So I've got her doing that. She does her neutral grip pull-ups. And like I said, I wish she could get, different grips on this, but again, her shoulder doesn't allow for it due to some surgeries and stuff in there. So just like her closed grip benching, her pull-ups, we have to stay in close. And, there's not much we can do about it. So we just roll with that. So we make it work though. And you guys can see right there that surgical scar when she came up to the camera. That's why we can't do any of this stuff wider. So after the pull-ups, we do shoulder work for the day. So on max effort day, I have her do lateral raises with dumbbells. All right, we do lateral raises with dumbbells, and then we do reverse flies with the dumbbells. Whereas on the speed bench day, the dynamic day, I put a little more emphasis on the interior side of the deltoid, but I really want to make sure the side and the posterior head, traps and everything are getting fully developed, which again, we need to bring those areas up. But overall, the shoulder volume and variety is high. And that's one of the things that it's very difficult with women for drug-free women, it's very difficult to build their shoulders up. It's one of the most difficult things you can do. A lot of coaches out there who listen, they know, they understand. And it just has to do with things like androgen receptor density, muscle fiber density, so it takes a lot of work. And in this case, I actually am hitting her delts from 3 to 4 different angles every single week, just for the variety of movements to do that, to try to bring that up. Plus on top of that, because she has to bench close grip, we're very reliant upon her delts relative to her pecs to get that bench moving, for the first half of the movement. And then it's tricep mostly after that on the close grip. Okay, she got a really good safety bar squat, good and deep this week. All right, very happy with that. And I think she ended up getting like 240, so she got 265 on the straight bar last week. So we're real happy with that. I am. Of course, we ran into some issues with sumo, and she had to call it light, and we discussed it. It's just sumo's inflaming her hamstring too much. So we're going to pull the sumo out. Just like I can't have her wide grip bench. We can't really do the wide grip pulling. It's unfortunate, but we have to work around what we have to work around. And I'm not going to have a lifter continue to use a movement pattern that might help shore up better muscle balance, shore up some weak links, at the expense of continual, something like tendon or joint inflammation. Just not worth it. But again, we got a good squat there, and that was a little grindy. The guy ran over to help her, but she locked it. She was good, and like I said, I think it was 240 or 245 on that safety bar. And then after that, because of the nature of the sumos with her, she ended up calling it at 225. She's like, my hamstrings are killing me. But we're okay with that because last week we got a conventional PR, right? We hit a lifetime PR, like a good 10-pound PR too. So, we'll take it on the sumo this week. Not a big deal. We're going to stick with conventional variations. So after that, I'm having her do the goblet squat still because I want to really reinforce that depth. We need to continue to build her adductors, and that wide stance, really deep goblet squat is phenomenal for building adductors, right? So we need to bring those up. So that's what we do there. We do these ultra deep. It's also teaching her to continue to squat to depth in the manner that we need, because she was squatting a little high, a couple weeks ago, and I told her we've really got to resolve that. Although we ran into some complications with her meat, there's a cancellation issue. She's going to have to do one just slightly later, but we're still in meet prep because we're going to have her on a platform by the end of the year. Right? We're going to have her on a platform coming up. So have to adjust a little bit. But, most of my conjugate people are close to meet ready year round. That's kind of the idea, that they could do an impromptu meet, with a week's notice, fairly easily. So after the goblet squats, we do glute ham raises. All right, we do our glute ham raises. And then we finish up with reverse hyperextensions, which, again, you guys know I love. All my lifters who have access to it use it. So again, we're trying to continue to get stronger at the reverse hypers. We're pushing these really hard because she needs the glute, she needs the hamstring and everything. Her back is actually a strong point, but we want to make sure that it stays a strong point, that low back, because her upper back is really strong based upon that safety bar squat we just saw, right? So we're in a very good position there, but we've got to have more glute, we've got to have more hamstring, she's got to have more adductor. Like these are really her weakest links on her lower body lifts, and we have to continue to bring them up. Reverse hyper is a great way to finish them off. All right, speed bench, running chains again this week. So again, 9 sets of 3. Running her fairly heavy. I may take these down to lighter percentages though, with her being a little further out from the meet now than we thought. So we may take them down a hair lighter just to get a little more speed, make sure that she recovers well from all of it. Afterwards, again, we tend to do the pull-ups, right? We do pull-ups. And I'm not doing rows this week. We've taken some of that volume down to work on other stuff, but we may work rows back in soon just for, again, general hypertrophy. But we don't have to have them quite as much at the moment because she is really strong at pull-ups, quite good at these. We get a lot out of them, and we're doing all this other upper back work because of all the dumbbell work for shoulders. All right, after the pull-ups, we do seated dumbbell presses. Again, a little front delt dominant, upper chest dominant, but again, that's what we're hitting a little more on this day. So we do the seated presses, and then we do our plate front raises, which again, quite a bit of overlap in the movement pattern there. But the reason I need to do that is because she cannot incline bench. And since she cannot incline bench, I really want to make sure that we're getting enough movement in to work the upper chest a little bit and the anterior deltoids more. Again, particularly with the closed grip benching. Why? Because we know based on the data that the closer you grip on the bench, the more the emphasis goes to your upper chest, right? And as we go wider, it does go lower down into the pectoralis major. But because she has the bench closed grip, we have to make sure that we don't have any weak links on the upper end, right? So that means upper pectorals, anterior deltoids, all of that, we have to really stay on top of it. Again, just to make sure we continue to build that up without having her doing too much benching and chewing her shoulders up further. So after that, again, we do the band press downs, which you guys know why we do these. I discuss them ad nauseum in blogs, my own and clients. We live on these, and I've learned it's just a real good idea to do that. I found them to be so therapeutic for so many of my lifters that I have most of my lifters do them no matter what, most of the year. All right, dynamic lower day, speed boxes against chains. We're getting much better at sitting back. We're losing some of that quad dominance on these. So again, we know that her hamstrings are getting stronger because she's able to sit back further. And that's oftentimes an issue. The whole quad to hamstring dominance thing is something that we see more common in women. Just an FYI, coaches and trainers, be aware of that. It's been noticed quite a bit. Women will tend to have a propensity towards more quad dominance, and it's bad enough in men. Most men already have weak hamstrings. It's slightly more skewed oftentimes for women unless we correct it. And particularly if they've done a lot of squatting and not a lot of extra posterior chain work, it can become a problem real fast. It'll get out of control. Then we start becoming prone to knee injuries and all sorts of stuff. But again, the goblet squats here, helping with the depth, helping build the adductors. And these will carry over considerably to those safety bar squats, by the way. It's one of the things I've noticed with lifters who have access to the safety bar. These little light goblet squats have tremendous carryover. It starts bringing up the safety bar squat very quickly. And then, of course, we finish up with the movements that, we always have her do, which is going to be glute ham raises, hanging leg raises, and reverse hypers. And I'll let you guys watch that as we finish up. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.